everyone, my name is Clantus and welcome to the clan. Yes, honorable members of the clan, let's start this video. So there's a discussion that I'm having with some of you in the comment section as well on my DM on Instagram about what exactly do I think. Of course, it's not going to be exactly what I think, but I would just make some, speculations about why the witnesses that were present in the house on the 26th of October 2014 would be sticking to a story seeming clearly it does not exist. The story of the intruder, why is it not sticking? Why is it told in so many different versions when they could just tell the story properly? Because if you listen to Mtogo and you listen to Tumelo, you would tell that the beginning of their story is accurate. It's believable, and all the way till the part when they arrive at the Khumalo house. The truth is that indeed when they got there, they found the mother. The mother was carrying a child, and probably Christian was just walking about the house when they arrived. And I think the other truth is where Makumalo makes them lunch or food, and then they are watching soccer, which I think they said Chelsea and Manchester was playing. And then I do believe about them sitting down after the meal and having their drinks. Now, where things start getting shaky is when the intruders enters the house. Because if you're listening to the script is incomplete during the intruders entering the house, during the commotion, and to the point where Senzo Meyiwa is killed. And let me tell you what I found to be very much like does not make sense. Okay. Zandile Khumalo and Mtogo said two people entered. At first, Zandile said she saw two people at the same time. And then Mtogo says he saw the first person and later saw the second person, or realized that there was a second intruder. And there's a tear that's trying to drop down my face. I'm not quite sure how to wipe it away while I'm busy filming. But anyways, when it starts becoming obvious, then I'll wipe it. And then Tumelo says, at first he saw, the first suspect. Okay, now it's dropping. Sorry about that. Then Tumelo says, no, he saw suspect number one who was carrying a gun. He was not pointing it specifically at anybody, but he was wielding it. So meaning like whoever tries me, whoever moves, but Longwe did move. And then why the intruder does not shoot? Before even he could get to the intruder, no matter how fast this is happening, why didn't the intruder shoot? Or at least prevent Longwe from leaving, either shooting at the roof, shooting at him, shooting him to prevent him from going out. Because once he goes out, how do they know that he's not going to call for help? How do they know this is the last day of their freedom? Because the police will be here soon and the community is going to deal with them. So the other one is about suspect number two. What was the role, a clear role of suspect number two? Because everybody seems to be focusing on what suspect number one was doing, because I think that's the easiest to create a story around him. But what about suspect number two? What about the coordination between suspect number two and suspect number one? Because suspect number two should be guarding the coast, making sure that nobody moved. But Longwe moved and he left. And then Zandile moved. She hit the phone behind the cushion. And then I think Tumelo says, or Zandile said that Senzo himself moved and he was hiding the phone. I'm not quite sure if it was between his thighs or between his thigh and the arms rest. So they moved. You're telling me two people who are intruding and they want a specific items from you, they see movements and they are not going to say anything? So four eyes are seeing movements, but no action is taken on any one of them. And then let's talk about suspect number two. Zandile Khumalo at least gave him some action. He was busy with Kelly Khumalo, pushing and shoving the door to get Kelly outside of the room. But unfortunately, he seemed to have failed to get her out of the room because Kelly managed to lock herself in the room. And then after that, she does not necessarily tell us what exactly does he do. What's his role at this point? Before they all stood up, because Zandile said they all stood up and pushed, while the other two witnesses are telling a different story about what happened. How did they all end up in the kitchen? And then when did Kelly Khumalo feel safe and brave enough to leave the bedroom and join the people in the kitchen pushing? Pushing what? For what to happen? Because what you're supposed to be doing is trying to get the gun if you did get such an opportunity. All of you, the other one, we know that he's not carrying anything. Togo put a knife in his hand. Now, who is trying to disarm number two? And why is number two not stabbing anybody if he sees that, oh my goodness, my partner is being overpowered? At least, because the Senzo Meyiwa's back was turned against him, he could have turned and stabbed Meyiwa to subdue him. But no, suspect number two seems to be, I don't know, loitering around or standing, or I don't know what's happening with suspect number two. That is what I want to know. That is why this script is falling apart, because when it comes to number two, there's no action. At least we know that with Tumelo's story, suspect number one is getting scop and donored by Senzo Meyiwa. And let me tell you something, Tumelo is putting, even Mtogo put Senzo Meyiwa as the hero, that he's the one who was pushing as suspect number one. This is what I think. When Longa walked into the room, he was already upset. Upset because he could not find his girlfriend. Probably he found out that the girlfriend slept in Malberton, where Senzo Meyiwa and Kelly Khumalo slept. And he probably found out that there was another guy. And this same guy spent the night in Malberton. And now the question is, there are two bedrooms in that house. Where did Zandi and Mtogo sleep? So of course, this probably drove Longwe crazy. That is why when he entered the house at that particular day, he did not greet, he went and sat down. I think there was a commotion between Zandi and Longwe. And where Senzo did play a role of a hero is when he started seeing probably Longwe becoming either aggressive towards Zandi. And then he pulled out the gun because he's already angry, even at Senzo, that you would take my girlfriend and your friend and they go sleep in the same house, possibly on the same bed, and then that's when he shot. That is what I am thinking. Now let's move away from that. Now let me answer what I've been asked. What do I think is the reason why they are lying? I think the reason they are lying is probably because they received money. They were rounded up. If you remember Tumelo's testimony, he said that when they left, I don't know, they went to GP police station. After they came back from GP police station, they went back to Malberton. When they went back to Malberton, this is when Chico Twala, at a later stage of the day, he came together with his son, Longwe. And the first question that he asked Kelly was about Tumelo, who was he? And then Kelly told Chico, this is Tumelo, Senzo Meyiwa's best friend. So I think this is where it all started. Like, okay, how much do I pay you? Because already he enticed him by asking Kelly Khumalo, I think it was a reverse psychology on Tumelo, when he asked Kelly Khumalo if she would like to go on a holiday. Probably he even mentioned the place where he's going to take her on holiday after Senzo Meyiwa's death. And then after that, he turned around and probably said, I can also take you on a holiday too if you want one. Senzo Meyiwa was your best friend. Probably you are worn out, tired, and you want to go relax and unwind and think about this situation. But here's the money for that. Oh, let me give you far more than what I could give you. But I need your silence. There's a story that we are going to tell, and then you're going to stick to this story till the day you die. So I think other people as well that were in the house that particular day also got the same deal. They were also given the same conditions, that this is the script, you're going to stick to the script till the day you die. You are not going to change it. I'm not saying this is the fact, I'm not saying it happened, I'm just rubbing my two IQs here, trying to make sense as to why these people are lying. If it is not money, maybe, let's just say maybe, they got to understand and saw the shooter for who he really is. And then he said, you better talk. You next. Say something and you are next. And probably they are afraid of the person that actually shot and killed Senzo Meyiwa, because amongst them, and that is why they are sticking to a story that does not exist. Now the question is why they continue to lie, why nobody is cracking up. I think because now they understand that since 2014, they've been telling a story of an intruder or intruders that did not exist. Just like with Oscar Pistorius. Oscar Pistorius, apparently to this day, he insists that there was an intruder in his house, or he thought it was an intruder, not River Steenkamp. And of course, we know that he got convicted for that and he's serving prison time. Now let's get to this one as well. They are sticking to this to the story or the script that there were intruders in that house. So now they are afraid that if they told the truth, or one of them told the truth, they have committed a crime of perjury. They lied under oath. Especially now that some of them are in court and already testified and swore to tell the truth. But of course, the statements as well, it's a sworn statement. They could be charged with perjury. I'm not quite sure how many years would you'll be sent to jail for perjury. The other charge, I think, will be defeating the ends of justice. I'm not quite sure how many years that is going to entail. I think the other one will be wasting state's resources. All these lawyers now that are being paid by the state, that's the resources of the country. That money could have gone somewhere in fighting crime. So they are afraid that all of these things will start befalling them. Instead of spending probably 6 months in prison, now it's going to be years in prison, probably even 10 years or even 12 years. Because I don't know how many years perjury carries. I'm not quite sure what defeating the ends of justice carries as well in sentences. So now they're afraid that, oh my goodness, we're going to destroy our lives if we told the truth. Let's stick to this story till the end. I think the other thing that is going to be a great loss, especially to Kelly Khumalo, is her child. Losing her child or the custody of her child either to Senzo Meyiwa's family, because I think they would want a child. Or maybe losing custody of both children, but to whom are they going to be handed over to? To the state, like social workers? I don't know, because the mother as well will be charged with the similar crimes as all of them. And the last one, I think they're also afraid of a civil action for loss of income. Remember, Senzo Meyiwa was also a breadwinner. So now that they've lost a breadwinner, the Meyiwas may lodge a civil suit against the 6 of them. So all of those things count to the fact that they will stick to the story till the day they die. But now I am saying clearly there is no case. Let the state withdraw or the court dismiss or strike off this case of the roll, and then NPA issues a warrant of arrest for the 6 so that the truth finally comes out. One of them is a shooter, and all of them can attest to that. That is my belief. And I don't think it was intentional. I still think it was an accident of some sort. If only they could just say that, listen, all of this was not intentional, it was an accident. And then we move on. So the last thing that I was also asked was about Thabo Bester and his crew. Like, everybody was happy to see Thabo Bester, including Dr. Nandipho Makutumana's father, who looked really chuffed to see his son-in-law. And the question I was asked was, why were they so happy? Because every time when they appeared, they looked miserable. Nobody was looking at anyone else talking, except for Matuara, who would talk to accused number 2. And also the guy with the dark glasses, sometimes he would stretch over and speak to Matuara, and then he would not speak to everyone else. Now suddenly everybody is beamed up and they are very happy to see Senzo, what calls his name, Thabo Bester, I almost said Thabo Meyiwa, Thabo Bester. And then the question now is, do we know more or less of the relationship between Thabo Bester and those G4S securities? Okay, fine. It's possible that during the time of their break, when they leave the cells, the guards and them, they would have like some sort of a conversation. But I remember Thabo Bester had an office in the prison cell in Mangaung Correctional Center. Remember the birthday party, the suit, the laptop. Where did he get all those things? So of course in my mind I'm thinking, yes, these people lived off Thabo Bester for the longest time. Probably the things that they own, it's because of Thabo Bester's money. So I was thinking, no, we only know of 40,000 rand that was shipped into the accounts on the night that Thabo Bester escaped. But what about prior to that? Because all that happiness and the celebration and the joy that we were seeing, because okay, we saw Nandipa Makutumana happy to see her boyfriend, but why all the other ones? Except for Nastasia Janssen. Nastasia Janssen probably was the only one who just sat there in her corner, just not paying attention to any of these people. And as usual, she looked like a whale out of the ocean. And rightfully so, because I still think that this lady is innocent of all these accusations. And of course, we saw the Zimbabwean guy, I forgot what's his name, I think he's accused number 9. He too was quiet. I think he even looked disgusted when he saw Thabo Bester. Clearly, there's no love lost there. So at the end of the day, I am thinking, no, there is something more than meets the eye with the G4S gods and Thabo Bester. Of course, they have a very good relationship, and it was well demonstrated in court at the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court yesterday. So anyways, those are my thoughts. Those are the answers that I have to the questions that have been asked. Again, these are not the facts. I'm not saying it happened. I'm just rubbing my 2 IQs here, and I'm voicing my opinion. So anyways, guys, if you like the video, give it a like. If you don't like the video, give it a like. Anyways, do subscribe to my YouTube channel, and don't forget to click the bell notification so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. Also, my super thanks are turned on, and thank you so very much to everybody that is super thanking this channel and supporting it financially. And lastly, do also leave me a comment down below. Maybe you have your own theory about why these people are sticking to their lie, and also what is the relationship, do you think, between Thabo Bester and the gods of G4S. And also do share this video far and wide. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time with a new video. Goodbye. Now I can go home.